like a big flock, a field fare, just on the edge of the field over there. They're really skittish. As soon as they see you, they all fly off. Good morning. I thought I'd start this vlog a little bit differently. So normally I'm always in my studio. I occasionally show clips of me out and about walking Archie, but I thought I'd do something a little bit different. So we're just out in the fields. It's very gloomy, wet. My feet are already getting wet, and the weather's going to get colder today, so they're going to be shutting the water off in the marina. So it's been shut off for the past week. Masses of laundry to get done. So yeah, I think today's just going to be like a chore day. Gavin's off from work, but he's sick at the moment, so I think he said he's gone back to bed. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the vlog, and I'll see you back in the nice warm boat. I've had to put the lights on in here, so I've got my nice warm lamp and I've got the overhead lights, and yeah, it's just been raining all day, so it's a bit gloomy in here, and I've hung up all the washing. So first video in 2026. I've had to charge everything up because I haven't obviously been recording or anything. It's that time of year to have a look back on what kind of art goals I set myself for 2025. Did I achieve them? I also did things I achieved in 2025, which I haven't done before. I think it's all well and good kind of setting yourself goals, but how often do you sort of look back and think, oh, actually I achieved this, that and the other thing? So I decided to do that, and I'm sure there's probably lots more. I try to include things that are a bit more personal, so things like just sort of spending some nice days out with Gavin. I think that's something that we both wanted to do a lot more, is just to spend, like the three of us, like with Archie, just going out somewhere just for the day. So the first goal on here is fabric products. So the previous year, I think it was at the end of 2025, I got some printed fabric made. Yeah, I think I might have to sit back a bit because the lighting is so bad. Hang on. It's really dark. I can't really do much else about it, so you have to sort of like deal with it. So this is my first and only fabric design. I really like it, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out, and it took me a long time to actually get it made. I was doing a lot of like tweaking with it, and I was getting a lot of samples made, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. I would definitely want to get some more made, some more fabric printed. First kind of product that I wanted to get made was tea towels and zipped bags, so that's what I've got written down. And I had a go at making tea towels, but they did not turn out right. I think I made 4 of them, because that's how much fabric I had, and I thought, you know what would be a really good idea? If I put a tea towel in the wash and see how it fares. So I did that, and it shrank and warped, and I thought, no, I can't sell these. As soon as they go in the wash, they're kind of ruined. They shrunk quite a lot. I think probably about maybe like an inch. It was quite a lot, and they ended up shrinking like down quite small. I never got around to making any zip bags because the fabric that I bought was the only fabric that I had. But I repurposed the fabric and I made some book sleeves. So this is like my own personal one. I've got a couple of these. I've got, it's a good book, good book. Yeah, so I've got a video up on YouTube of me like making these. I've got a couple. I think I've only got 2 small ones. Oh, these are extra small, so they're a bit smaller than this one. So this is more, I would say this is more for like a Kindle a Kindle. I don't have one. I never had a Kindle, but that would fit a Kindle. It would fit like a very small book. Unfortunately, like it doesn't quite sort of fit like a standard book, paperback book. So I do have these listed up as sort of like being for like a small book. I've got the sizes up there up on my website, but I would recommend these for if you've got a Kindle. But they've got like a little fastening little button so it won't fall out. But I've only got 2 of these up on my website. I had a couple of large ones, which I'm actually using as well. So I've got this one for like my small books, and then I've got my large one which will fit like a real fat chunky book. But I definitely want to make some more book sleeves. I think because they are a nice kind of useful product. They look really nice. Did I succeed in fabric products? Yes, I would say. I did make book sleeves. Okay, they're not tea towels or zip bags, but it's still something that I've made out from the fabric. So I would say that is a win. The next thing on my list was lamps. So my lamp down here, my sister actually made this, and it's actually got one of my watercolour designs on it. It's a very old watercolour design. I have that option that I can make, or I can have my designs, my artwork onto lamps. I've never actually done it. I've never made any artwork. I've never submitted anything. I've never had any samples, nothing. I've never actually gone down that route of actually getting a lamp designed. I still think it would be not like I should have a go at it. And I think that might have been on my 2024 goals, actually, lamps. So I'm carrying that over, sort of. The next thing on the list was jewellery. I wanted to make some wooden dangly earrings. So obviously I had an idea in mind. And I did succeed with that. I made some of my owl moth wooden earrings. So let's see if we can do this. Yeah. I have to be back here because it's so dark. I'll show up a closer picture anyway. So yeah, these are like really easy to make, really easy to get manufactured. I use just a manufacturer that I've used before, and the little findings and things I just sort of like put together myself. So I've made jewellery before, so it's quite easy. But yeah, I've sold a few of them. The other thing on the list was lino cutting, so practice and do some fabric printing / t-shirts. I definitely have been practicing, and I want to sort of concentrate on printing onto fabric rather than paper, just because then I can fit that in with my fabric design. So I was thinking about making book sleeves. So I've mentioned this before, but I wanted to do a lino cut design, which I've thought about it, and I've kind of done some rough sketches, but I wanted it to look like the front of like a book, like a nice vintage kind of fairy tale book. So I could just get some like blank fabric and then print the design onto it, and then I could sew it so it would look like a bit like a book, basically. So that's my idea. Had to go and charge the camera up, so the picture looks a bit, I tried to match the picture, like the frame, but obviously the DJI camera doesn't have batteries I could sort of swap out with it. I have to actually charge the whole camera, so it's a bit annoying. But yeah, I was talking about my lino cutting. Yeah, I got an idea to do book sleeves, and I've been sort of like practicing. So I made, these are my owl moth, which is a a made up moth basically that I made up. But yeah, this is like my owl moth, and I've just printed it onto some bits of like scrap fabric. But I was going to make some like bunting out from these for a Christmas present for Mum. I stuffed them basically with some wadding, and I put like a little bit of fabric at the top, but they were just kind of like individual. I had to sew them by hand because I didn't have my sewing machine with me, but they were a real pain in the butt to sew. But that was like an interesting experiment to see how the lino cut comes out onto fabric. And I also tried printing. I've got a deerhound lino cut design which I had to go at printing, and this is just like an old t-shirt. When I did my lino cutting course a couple of years ago, I didn't do any fabric printing. We were just sort of printing it onto paper, but I always knew like I wanted to do printing onto fabric. So I'm kind of like just experimenting doing this myself, and the things I'm learning from this is I definitely need to press really hard onto the fabric. So I think it takes a couple of tries to get like a clean print, but I think this was like the last one that I did, and I ended up I just stood on all of it. So when I was doing these, I just put it on the floor and stood on it, but it's not quite enough. Standing on it you need more pressure than just like standing on it. I guess if you're probably a bit heavier. I'm not like, you know, the lightest person in the world, but even Gavin was standing on it at one point, but it's just not enough. So I'm either going to have to get a press or use the one that's in the lino cutting studio, which I can use, but it's like a pay-as-you-go type thing that I would have to do. Yeah. The other thing as well is I might try experimenting with like a different type of lino, because what I've got is the grey lino, and it's quite rigid, and I've been sort of like watching people on like Instagram like doing their lino cutting onto fabric, and they've been using, like most of them have been using like it's like a pink rubber, which is a lot softer. So I think I'm gonna get some of that and try printing, because that might be easier. That might be what I need to do, is try like a different lino. Been doing that, so that's a tick for the lino cutting. And then the other thing that I had was like just business goals, which was post a video at least once a month, which is kind of what I've been doing. Yeah, I think I've been posting like every 2 weeks. Yeah, I've been quite good at doing that. And Instagram, post at least once a week. Yeah, I think I've been doing that. And then I think I had print on demand, continue researching companies. I think that was when I was looking at like t-shirts, getting t-shirts printed, which I have done. So I have designed some t-shirts. I got 4 t-shirt designs up on my website through a print on demand company. And in one of my videos I had a sweatshirt sample of my deerhound print on one of them, but I didn't like the fabric that the sweatshirt was made out from. It was like 50% polyester, and I don't want polyester in clothes basically. So I have been looking at getting, if I can find like a cotton sweatshirt at like a reasonable price. At the moment it's quite expensive, so I just kind of left it at the moment. So yeah, I think I've done alright for my 2025 goals. I've kind of kept it quite minimal, not to like overwhelm myself. And let's move on to my 2026 goals. So I don't know if I've kind of mentioned this before in like previous vlogs, but so what I'm trying to do with my art business is trying to find my path, creating the right type of products for my artwork. I definitely think this year has been sort of just create lots of different things and get it out there. But I've just kind of been thinking very recently. So I think this break that I had over Christmas and New Year has definitely sort of, I think, helped a bit. And I'll tell you the other thing that has helped. So my mum picked up some art magazines. So this is like one of them. I actually think I'm going to join this. I think it's Support All Artists. Yeah, so she picked up like few like magazines. And I was just having like a read of them, and it was quite inspiring. It's nice like reading about other people's artwork, and you pick up tips and things like that. And I kind of feel like I need to be more within that kind of artwork world. I think at the moment I'm kind of going down the more kind of small product based art design, and I think that's just because that's the kind of community and people that I'm amongst. I've kind of, you know, like, I don't know, like you're at school and you're trying to make friends, and then you just kind of follow the group of, you know, you kind of follow that group of people, and then as you sort of get to know them more, you're like, oh, maybe they're not like my type of people, maybe those people over there are more like my type of people, kind of thing. But with artwork, I think my type of artwork is very detailed, and I tend to find it easier to work bigger on a large scale. And I just find trying to fit that into smaller products, I'm just finding just difficult. And what I really want to do is create bigger pieces and have lots of art prints. Just have like a smaller range of products. My artwork deserves that, I think, to be shown, like showcased. It's just a struggle to just try to fit it into like small products, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I've been just kind of struggling a little bit, just trying to find like my path with my artwork. So my big goal for the year is I want to do an art exhibition. There is an art gallery that I think I can kind of easily get into, so which would be great. So, but I would need to frame my artwork. I was thinking about doing it myself, because I wanted to choose like the wood, choose like the mount, and do it all myself. So I have like complete control of like the framing process. Yeah, but if I can just, even if I just get like one exhibit, like that would be amazing. And I would also want to create loads of art prints, so kind of different size art prints that will be available to sell alongside with my original artwork. So giving that kind of different prices for people. So obviously not everyone can afford original art. It would be nice to sort of have prints available for people, and also I could take those things with me to like markets. So, and the other things are be a part of the art world, clubs, groups, competitions. So yeah, but I was thinking about like joining these people, and then because they do like art competitions, and I thought about like taking part in some art competitions, slim down my products. I don't have loads of stuff anyway, but the keychains have been like a real kind of flop in my shop, unfortunately. They were actually the very first product I actually got made. Toad and my mushroom, so those are the only two keychains, but they've probably out from most of my things in my shop, they've kind of been a bit of a flop. My magnetic bookmarks have sold really well, and so have some of my notepads as well. Pins as well. Yeah, but I think prints, definitely I want to do more of them, have that more as like a feature in my shop. notepads and bookmarks. Yeah, the notepads, I think I might just do like a very small selection of them. I find like my list pads do quite well. And I think my bookmarks do really well. I don't really want to sort of like, they're such like a nice little product, and I think they fit in with like my artwork in that I get a lot of inspiration from reading and like fairy tales and things, but like a lot of inspiration for like when I was younger, like fairy tales and things, and you know, I could do like fantasy art, so it kind of makes sense really. So to have that kind of bookish type products available in my shop. And social media, I've put in here, so post when I feel like it with meaningful content, and show more of the process / journey. So I don't like the pressure of like having to post regularly. I want to post when I feel like it, with content that I think is meaningful, basically. I think sometimes when you're in that, when you feel like you need to post stuff, you just end up posting any old crap sometimes, like, oh, I just throw out something, and it's just a bit like you're just doing it because you feel like you have to. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to continue doing my vlogging. I'm going to continue, I think, doing that once. I'll see. I'm going to say, don't listen to me. Don't take everything what I say as like the truth. I change my mind quite a lot. A lot of things that I do are based on like feeling. Like, how do I feel? Do I feel like this, that, and the other kind of thing? I'm going to try and be consistent with my YouTube vlogs, but I'm not really doing much in the moment, so I don't really want to just put up something because I feel like I have to. If it means that my vlogs will be once a month, then they're going to be once a month, but I'd rather post something meaningful rather than just posting something because I feel like I have to. So same with like Instagram as well. So I think my Instagram's doing okay. Like, I'm posting nice stuff. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, and just do a bit more behind the scenes, like the actual kind of sketching early stages of my artwork, and like maybe like talking or showing like my ideas, like my thought processes and stuff. I think that would be quite interesting. And on that note, I'm gonna leave you, and I'll see you again at some point. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.